It all started like this.
I said, let's get married.
What'd she say?
Well, she said, I don't know. And I said yes, and so we just went and bought our license.
So 3 days later, on May 30th, 1931, Gladys Fields married Knoeful Busick in Paola at his cousin's house on Campbell Street. After 50 years, they offered this advice on making a marriage work. What's the secret to a long marriage?
Well, each has got to give and take a little bit.
Give as much you take.
And
Both of you.
never go to bed mad at each other. And then the one thing, don't hold a grudge. You keep, when something comes up and you get that argument out, let it drop there. Don't go ahead and keep bringing that up. And my dad always said, don't both get mad at the same time. One of you stay calm.
I don't know if staying calm had anything to do with it, but about a year after they were married, their family began to grow. And grow. And grow. And grow. A lot of people, when I tell them I'm the baby of 12 kids, say, "Your poor mother." How do you feel about having 12 kids?
Well, I wouldn't recommend it to everybody.
What do you think about having a big family?
Oh, a big family has a good time. We always did.
They never lacked for entertainment. There's always enough to entertain each other.
When Kurt was about 10 months old, Mom had her appendix taken out, a serious operation at that time. After 3 weeks of laying flat on her back in a Louisville hospital, she came home to her 10-month-old baby.
I couldn't pick him up. He was pretty much of a climber anyhow, for a little top. And I told him to put his feet on the rounds of the chairs and climb up on my lap. And his crib bed. I guess I put a chair beside of it, I don't remember. I would climb on the chair and on the railing of the bed. And he soon learned that he didn't need that chair to climb on. He could skin up in that bed.
No, what did Doyle say when his dad was coming in from the field?
Daddy be coming soon now. But nothing different from what he said. He would always end it with now. And we had no black cow. And she was pretty wild and mean. And he was afraid of that cow. He's out in the pasture field and seen her. He would run and say, "Old black cow eating me up now."
Bill had a nickname, right?
Doodlebug.
How'd he get that?
They'd pack on the ground and I'd say, "Doodlebug, doodlebug, come up." Keep packing on the ground, they'd come up. You didn't know whether you said it or not. He's out there one day and he's showing John Itari how to call the doodlebugs up. John gave him the name Doodlebug. Yeah, he gave him the name of Doodlebug after that.
Marietta.
What about Marietta?
Yeah.
She was a fighter.
Fighter?
Had to be the 3 boys older than she was. And when she get mad, she would throw things. And one of them, boys, I don't know which was Doyle, Kirk, or which one. You better not make Marietta mad. Hit you with whatever she got. She was the only granddaughter for a long time.
Where'd the name Buckshot come from? You named him Donald.
Named him Donald Ray and John Atari. He's just a tiny thing. He'd say, "Come here to me, Buckshot." And every time you would see him, he'd call him Buckshot. And the kids got to call him Buckshot.
Still call him Buckshot. Buck.
Name just stayed with him all his life. Jim, he was a tinkerer. He was
Still is.
always trying to make something. And he was got some blocks and sticks, and he was going to build them on that house. Or he'd rake up a pile of these and work on them, and going to build them on that house. I could carry his dad, had a small bucket to carry his dad water. And Jim started out and when your dad came in for dinner, Jim wasn't with him. And Buck said he wasn't with me. So they was a hunt on them and start hunting for him. He was way back at the back of the lake.
Yeah, above the pond back there in the briar patch. He got back there and I heard him crying. And I went up there where he's at and he said, "Where's Buckshot?" He's still looking for Buckshot.
Winslow Dean came after Jim, right?
Oh, I can tell you. Is that he took cold and went into bronchial pneumonia. He died. He was a good baby. The kids liked to play with him. They would up in the bed and talk to him. That's about all I can tell you about him. Wasn't quite 6 months old. He died 22nd or 23rd. Must have died 22nd of December because he was buried Christmas Eve day. Of course, Marietta was the only girl we had then. She says now, the spoiled Shirley. She was our baby. I don't know if it spoiled her any more than it did the rest of them. Tried not to. But she was an active little thing, and she talked. All by the time she's 9 months old, she was talking just about as much as Michelle does. And she walked. Before she's 10 months old, she was walking.
Walking when you're 9 months old.
And she would,
Climb everywhere.
if she could find a dresser drawer, or she could get her hands in, open enough that she can get her little hands in there, she would pull that drawer out, throw every piece of clothing on the floor, and climb up in the drawer and lay down. Bob was anemic. And by the time he was 6 months old, I guess, I was taking him once a week with the Dr. Spears, and he gave him a shot. And he soon learned, when we pulled up to the doctor's office where he was at, and he would cry and fight and put up an awful battle. By the time he got in there, he got that shot. I guess he had those shots until he was about a year old. Didn't need them anymore. But he was awful slow about walking. At night after the chores was done and supper was over, he'd sit down in the living room. The bigger one would take him out of the crib and out of the playpen, try to get him to walk. They'd take him, lean him up against the wall, and he would stand as long as he'd lean against anything. He thought he wouldn't fall as long as he'd lean against it. And they would be out in front of him and hold out their hands and walk to him, and he they tried that night after night, and he'd stand there a while and then get in and crawl to him. And they'd take him back and he'd stand there, and crawl to him. And one night, I stood him up like that, and he started walking. And when he found out that he could walk, he just about walked his legs off before we went to bed that night. And then the next morning, milking time, we started to the barn. I took him out to the back door and put him down on the path there up to the barn. He just went trotting on out there just like he'd always walk. Glenna was a chunky little gal when she was born. She didn't have the hair or the curls that Shirley had. She was kind of even the boys and girls up on Christmas, because she was still real tiny. But I never did know who put the billy goat on the back step, but I had a woolly billy goat. He was pink, plush billy goat, and brought that in, give it to her. She climbed on it, and she just rode that thing to death.
Hollandale's next.
He was a retarded, as I told you. And I said he was retarded. Yeah. Well, I wasn't for sure at first, but I thought he had such little tiny ears and eyes. And he was awful slow learning to do things. He could finally learn to walk, and he could talk in such a way that you knew what he was saying. But he was sick all the time. There was always something wrong with him. And yet he was just as fat and chubby as he could be. And he was 6 years old. He got to complaining of his legs. His legs hurt, he'd say. I went to Dr. Hammond's office. He had a way to analyze, test your blood for red corpuscles and white corpuscles. And when I went back up there, he said he was afraid that's what he had. So Spears made arrangements to get him in the Raleigh Hospital in Indianapolis. Every doctor up there, I think, looked at him. Interns and everybody. Well, they finally diagnosed us as acute leukemia. That's the worst kind it is. They keep him up there for a few weeks, and then they let us bring him home. But he just kept losing weight, and his hair come out. The last time they let him come home, they told me he was better. But he wasn't home but just a few days, so he got off the
They said they couldn't do any more for him. They said they couldn't do any more for him.
What do you think about people trying Laetrile and all these things for cancer?
Well, I don't know anything about that. But I think if they want to try it, they should be allowed to try it. It's their lives. I wrote several different places where it said they could cure leukemia. They had something to cure leukemia. And every letter I wrote, I got back the same answer. That if he's in the condition that you say he is, and at his age, I said, there's no way in the world they could do anything for him. Well, Duane weighed about close to 8 pounds, I guess, when he was born. And he had black hair and your big, long black eyelashes that everybody always thought was so pretty. Oh, Duane, that's just about a normal baby, I suppose. He had a picture when he was well, I don't think he was a year old. And one day we was looking through the pictures, and he looked at the picture of him. He said, "Gee, I had a big head." And Curtis Adrian, Darrell Elwood, William Eugene, Marietta June, Donald Ray, and George James, Wenzel Dean, Shirley Ann, Robert Keith, Glenna Faye, Alan Dale, Duane, Knoeful Duane. Right now, the way things are now, a person couldn't raise 10 children by themselves. They'd have to have help. And sometimes I think of
Sometimes it was awful hard.
Yeah.
I see that sometimes I didn't know whether I was going to make it or not. You're Kurt and Dawn both graduated. Buying new suits. It's pretty hard to make.
But we have had a lot of blessings, a lot of good times. And still have good times when they get together. And I don't know if either one of you ever said, "Mom, I don't have anything to do. What can I do?" You always found something to entertain yourselves. And I found out in raising a family that kids don't think they have to have a spick and span house, or whether they are neat or whatever. They just want your love and attention. I put my work a lot of times, made doll clothes, built kites, fixed toys, but don't let anything come between you and your family. Each child knows he's just as special as the other. I said, these old work-worn hands, I'm proud of them, these hands of mine. So many things they've done. They planted flowers and pulled the weeds and worked out in the sun. They've kneaded bread and cooked the meals more times than I can say. They've washed a ton of clothes, I guess, and put them all away. They smoothed a small child's fevered brow and rubbed an aching head. And when the evening shadows fell, they put the brood to bed. They borne the bite of winter's cold. They felt the warmth of spring. And on one finger long ago was put a wedding ring. And when my journey here is o'er, I still shall thankful be that these old work-worn hands of mine have done so much for me.